Hey everyone, so today I will be talking to you about my professor, Laura Jimenez Arista. She is currently a teacher for several counseling courses at the Polytechnic campus here at ASU. She is currently my professor for Intro to Counseling, but she also does Abnormal Psych and some other courses. So I chose to interview her for my project because I am particularly interested in career counseling, more specifically marriage and family, but I figured that she would be someone that is an easily accessible person for me to reach out to, and also she is well knowledgeable about the field of counseling in general. So interviewing her was something that I felt would be necessary for me. So just to give you a little background about her, she actually started off with a degree in engineering, and she worked as a computer IT for a good majority of her career. She got her bachelor's in engineering in Mexico. She was born and raised in Oaxaca, Mexico, and she didn't move to the States until about 2006. And with that move, that was kind of also the transition of her getting into the field of counseling. She realized that with her job, after having a leave of absence because of an injury that she had, she felt that she wanted a career that didn't really require her to move around a lot. She also wanted a career where she could connect more with people. She was still doing a lot of IT that was more personal, and face-to-face contact, but she felt like she was more interested in more interpersonal relationships, and especially very interested in the human mind and psychology in general. So then she sought out to get her master's and her doctor's degree at ASU here. She is from a family of teachers, so she, with the career that she chose now, I made the connection that was pretty interesting. How she still kind of ended up with teaching people again now that she does have her doctor's degree and whatnot, and she also does a bit of research on the side with about children and domestic violence and things like that. So some of the things that I asked her were like, what motivated her to become a counselor, and she told me that she wanted to learn more about psychology, first of all. She was also very interested in psychotherapy, and she liked to see how the world operated from a more scientific perspective, and she just loved the interpersonal connections that you can get from being a counselor. And with my interview, I also tried to go just a little bit back and forth with her, giving me answers for things that were about her with counseling, specifically with clients, and then after she stopped practicing and taking clients, because now she is more reared in research here at the university rather than working for a practice or having her own practice even. So some other things I asked her is like her typical day. She would typically work from about 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. And usually your schedule was kind of already made for you because clients have to make appointments and things like that. So the assistant or whoever would, or you yourself would make your schedule accordingly to what days you're available, things like that. You had meetings to go to all the time, whether it was like with your clients or meetings with your colleagues and your superiors. And she said most of the time, like 60 to 7% of her time with counseling was a direct service. So that is her typical day. She had responsibilities with being on time, making sure she was seeing her clients, making sure to go through the sessions fully, which are usually about an hour long, and then afterwards she would need to make sure she had her notes written up and logged for the day, and to keep track of that because that can be pretty overwhelming, is what she told me. Your qualifications, she said, for as a practitioner, mainly require you to be skilled in training and taking the required courses for this major, for counseling, you know, before you really graduate and stuff like that. Also have interpersonal skills, as well as just be interested in the service in general, because she felt like, you know, you can't really do a good job as a counselor if you are not interested in the work that you're doing. If you find the work to be boring, or if you find it to be overwhelming, it'll be hard for you to really keep up with it and maintain the energy to deal with it all the time. And she said also, just to be a successful counselor, you would, you know, want to care about your clients and care about how they're doing and things like that. The work environment as a practitioner, you know, it was typically you're helping others for the most part. You're helping with mental needs, and, you know, one of the things she also brought up was that as much as you are helping others with their needs, you also need to make sure that your mental health is checked and well too. So it was always a good idea to confide in your colleagues and, you know, talk to them about any situations you were having. If you needed a break, you know, talk to them about those things, so that you're not overwhelming yourself with all of the things that you're taking in from your clients. I asked her about traveling, if she really got to do that a lot, and she said not necessarily, but that's kind of why she likes the job that she's doing now. With both being a practitioner and now being a researcher, she does not travel too much. And also just depends on what kind of research you're doing. If you have your own practices and things like that, those all determine on whether you're traveling a lot, if you're like a big name in the counseling world and things like that. Other than that, she also just talked to me a little bit about how licensing goes and the process with that. And overall, I took away from this experience that I was more excited about, you know, doing my career in counseling. I felt that I was given a lot of information that was useful to me, because I personally am someone that always kind of like gets in my head about the careers or the choices that I'm making just in general. And she really helped me feel like I was doing all the things that I needed to do, because when she was talking about qualifications and requirements, I felt like I was on track with a lot of the things she was talking about. I just now have to really just stick with it, stay motivated and things like that to further pursue this career, because I genuinely do feel like this is like my calling, and this is the career that I could see myself doing for a very long time. So getting to meet with Dr. Jimenez was very exciting, and it was great to be able to reach out to her and get this information. So yeah, thank you.